Well, and hello, everyone. Andy Lindahl here, voice of your Colorado Mammoth. I see my man Jamie Shuchuk ready to jump in, so we're going to get this thing fired up right away. We're going to be joined tonight by Jason Bishop from the Colorado Mammoth, the offensive coordinator. Now, Jamie, truth be told, we had bigger plans than this, but unfortunately, we got a few sick guys on the team, is all we'll say. We'll not say who, but you dealt with it last week. The team is no different. It's that time of year. And so some of the players we're going to talk to, we'll just say we had to call it off and we got to get everybody ready for the weekend. But you know what? Big game, big win last week. Mammoth got back on the winning track. Just break down what we saw from last week's action.
Yeah, I think what a game against Rochester. Rochester, desperate team too. They're kind of in that lower third in the unified standing. So big game for them. It was neck and neck the whole way. I thought Dylan Ward played outstanding in the fourth quarter again, allowing one goal. And I'm excited to be able to talk to Jason Bishop. He's the one who drew up the winning play. As a coach and a fan, you can see those, when it's actually a designed play that they actually execute on. And it was great to see Zed be the guy. So I got a lot of questions for Bishop on how he manages that balanced offense and why he chose Zed to be the shooter on that last play.
Yeah, and you know what? I wondered if you could, because I know that, and we'll talk to Jason about it too, but you and our guy Johnny Gallant, who is between the benches a lot of times when we're doing our broadcast, you guys have talked about how the Mammoth, and it's not a new concept in lacrosse, but in the past we've seen the lefties kind of stay to the left and the righty shooters kind of stay to the right. And I don't know that Zed was like, I don't want to make it sound like he was all the way over to the other side, but he had drifted a little bit and kind of had that little shoot back action on that game winning goal. It's something we've seen. Will Malcolm, I think, has run to the right and shot backwards. Connor Robinson's done that a bit. I think Ryan Lee got one going the other way. It feels like the guys are a little more willing to do that this year. You have any idea why?
Yeah, I mean, I think, as a player, you definitely, I was a left-hander, and you definitely, once you cross that midline, that divides east and west in the floor, you kind of get, am I going to shoot this? Am I going to shoot this? So you definitely run out of angle. There's no doubt about it. And especially in the box game, there's just no room for it. You're going to pass it off and get back to your side. But, I feel like, it's a threat in the game of lacrosse, because also defenders think kind of the same thing. If they're following a guy all the way across the midline there, I think they're thinking their angle is going to run out too. But obviously, the shooters are so talented in today's game, and the Mammoth have several of them. John Grant Jr. was a guy who could do that off the power play. He'd get a pick set for him. He'd go over here, and goalies didn't expect it, and he could just pick corners. So I think, it depends on the shooter. There's no doubt about it. Some guys are going to pull it out. I know I would have. But I think it just goes to show you the trust that the coaching staff has in this offense, and they're so unselfish. I said it from game one. Ryan Lee coming back had a penalty shot goal, but he was banging bodies, and every single guy does the little things. You look at Eli McLaughlin out there; he's known to be a goal scorer. Watch him off ball. As a youth lacrosse coach, Colorado Mammoth is an offense I want players to watch, because everybody's doing all the little things.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, you and I have talked a lot about the balanced scoring that they've had this year. And why don't we just let Coach come in and talk to us a little bit about this as well, as we welcome in Jason Bishop here, offensive coordinator for your Colorado Mammoth. Jason, great to have you along. It's Andy and Jamie. We've
Hey
just
guys.
been talking offense. You know what, Coach? I mean, the last couple of years, you got it going in the runs, right? Late, and last year was a little up and down, but man, this year's been a lot of fun. What have you changed much, or is it just guys getting comfortable with each other that's found this offensive success for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you add Will Malcolm, I mean, he helps. But I mean, I think we're still figuring it out. I don't think we've hit our stride yet. We're still, running into each other and stuff. So I think once we figure it out, we're going to be really good.
Awesome. What's up, Coach?
Hey.
Yeah, I got a bunch of questions for you. Hopefully we can get them all in. But before we talk about last game and obviously the winning play looked like it was a design play. I want to ask you that later. But why don't you tell everybody like what's your you have a relationship with Pat Coyle, right, over the years, and how did that come to fruition of you? I know you're a scout with Colorado for years before you became a coach.
Yeah.
What's that transition been like, and what's the relationship with head coach Pat Coyle? Obviously, you guys travel together and that kind of thing. So tell the fans, how that kind of came about, being the offense coordinator for the Colorado Mammoth.
Pat and I have been friends for a long time. He's my best friend. We run a company together. We've worked together. We're in recovery together. We travel together. We do a lot together. And
Yeah.
he's my best friend. And I don't know. He gave me an opportunity, like when Gilly and Stroopy were there. Gave me an opportunity to be the scout, and sort of took that on. And sort of Gilly left, right, and then Willie left at a time where I think I was in sort of the right place at the right time with the right knowledge, with the right experience with the group, knew the group, and it sort of was, I'm an offensive guy, even though I didn't play offense. But it sort of seemed to be a good fit, and Selfer gave me an opportunity to step in there. And, it was a bit of learning and growing, which I still feel I'm doing that every game, and all the time we're still growing and learning. But I feel really grateful for the opportunity Selfer gave me there.
Tell you what, Jamie, since you've got a lot, let's get real lacrosse-y. Jump in there with Coach. Let's grind some tape.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you just mentioned it. I didn't realize this until I was reading up about you. You played you played defense when you played your junior and senior lacrosse career, and
Yeah.
how do you have the offensive mind? How does that work? I know, like for me, I was always offensive. I grew up playing hockey. I did play some D, played some O, but lacrosse, I remember, your youth, you play both sides of the floor, and as soon as I hit junior, it's like you're never going to the back end ever again. So I've always been definitely, and I'm an offensive minded coach. There's no doubt about it. So how does that transition being a D guy? Do you think that helps you? And how is it, just getting everybody to play like your system? It seems like guys are just so unselfish, and, you don't have any Dane Smiths, Josh Burns are averaging 9 points a game right now. Right. But you have four guys averaging just over and just under 5 points a game. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Goes to show you just how collective the offensive is.
Yeah, I didn't start playing lacrosse till later in my life, and I wish I could have been a goal scorer, but I can't score, so they don't let the guys go up front that can't score. Clearly, you could score, so they moved you up front, and they moved me to the back. But I was more of as a player, I would be like Charlie Hustle. I worked hard as a good teammate. I was all in all the time, but not super skilled. So, I mean, I don't claim to tell Connor Kelly how to shoot. You know what I mean? But for me, I think I do have I'm sort of I got all the D's, right? Like OCD, ADD, ADHD. I'm when I around, I see people running around. You know what I mean? It's I'm sort of I'm in it. I love it. And the years that I studied the teams and all the different offenses, I study every offense, every coach. I have some Kurt's a role model. I've played with Kurt, and Kurt's a really good friend. And
we're talking Kurt Malosky, Coach, just to keep everyone on the same page.
Yeah.
Kurt Malosky, when you say Coach.
Yeah, Willie Gilly. There's so many players, even McComb from Sask, those years. There's some really good stuff. Just that, but I've coached offense. I've been offensive minded for a long time. That happened before the Mammoth. That was way before that.
Yeah, and you set the bar high your first season. I mean, how does that feel? Obviously, you like you said, your right place, right time. Got great opportunities, great people with GM Brad Self and Pat Coyle and Andrew McBride. You guys had such a great staff, very passionate people. I played with them or against both those guys, and and I definitely know what they bring to the locker rooms and their preparation. How does it feel? You win championship. First year, Ryan Lee goes down in the playoffs, and and defensive minded team. Obviously, that's what everybody talks about. Dylan Ward, Robert Hope leading the back end, and then the offense. I'm being an old guy, right? I argue defense wins championships. There's no doubt, but you got to score goals to win. How does it feel? From that time to I believe this is year 4 for you.
Yeah.
Where you guys are, then where you win a championship right away, you're 1 for 1, right? And you set the bar high. So how does that feel now that you're, 4 years in with the same group, basically?
Yeah, I don't know if, last year, obviously, it was really challenging and humbling and, like a tough experience. Winning was like a storybook. Winning was like incredible. That was like, I don't know, you just, you're sort of like branded, it feels like the team's together and sort of stamped in time, and then almost winning or like, I don't know, making it to the end or whatever and losing. And I don't know, they're all experiences, like learning to coach and grow through the experience, like losing sort of seems to hurt. And then winning the championship is different, but like winning and losing is like, I don't know, winning seems it's like, yeah, we won. Yeah. Like it's actually like, but losing is like, oh, it hurts, man. It's like, oh yeah, but only one team wins. And there's so many, all the teams in the NLL are unreal. And, maybe like, I don't know, like in the NFL, like if a team played another team, maybe they win, you know what I mean? Like when you get down to the playoffs there. So I don't know. I think we really excelled in the playoffs, that we literally rose to sort of another level, and it's really awesome to be part of.
All right, let's pick up on that theme though with Buffalo, because every guy we have on and we talk rivalries, they inevitably come up. Fans always want to know who's your biggest rival when they get a chance to ask the players, and Buffalo comes up. Obviously, back-to-back years in the championship will help you do that. But you guys, you had some really good offensive games during those Buffalo series, and you had a couple where I'm sure you'd like to get a few more goals. Is the pressure, you know what Dylan's going to bring. We all know Dylan's a big-time playoff goalie. Does it add pressure to your job to try to make sure there's enough going? Or, that they're a wagon now. I hate to say it, but Buffalo's a bit of a wagon with what they got going on there. How much pressure is there to make sure, the O's going to be there if you get back to the championship and face them?
I'm like focused on trying to make the playoffs. I'm thinking about Toronto. You're talking about playoffs. Like we're not in the playoffs. We're like reset. All that stuff is just, nobody's talking about that. We're like focused on playing against, Latrell Harris and Challen Rogers. That's what today. I'm watching film. Like I'm actually like, we're focused. We're not thinking about championships, but I dislike Buffalo, if that's what you mean. I'm not like a super Buffalo fan. Like I don't know, but you have to respect how good they are. They're awesome. They're really good. And in order to beat them, you need to be really good. And we get to play them, in ball this year. They're going to come to ball and we're going to get a shot at them. And I don't know, but like our focus is like now, like I don't know. That's like, I literally not even crossed my mind, that whole thing. Like what did cross my mind, what you said, is it would have been better to score more than 4 goals in the championship game. Yes, I would have rather scored more. 4 goals is we would have had to hold them to 3 to win that championship game. Yes. So that's not enough.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the now. Let's talk about the past. I mean, I watched pretty much that whole Rochester game, tuned in right around the second quarter. Got a sick family here. Everybody in my family's had the flu, including myself. So, but like I was engaged, man. And, I always am with Mammoth games, but, back and forth game, like just one of those like resilient Mammoth wins where, you guys always talk about just your composure, and I could just imagine what it's like in the locker room at halftime, and you guys go in the locker room, sometimes down, but against Rochester, anyway, tell us about that 6-on-5 play, right? You guys had the last shot there, and, it's funny because it happened so fast, but, I could see the ball moving. I could see, Connor Robinson passes it. He goes and sets that pick, and then Zed and Eli are doing their little mambo in the middle. Was that designed? Like, tell me more about that, and what was the conversation there during that timeout?
That was the look. There's a bunch of looks out of that play though. Like the guys still have to read it. Like they make good reads. And what I found impressive there, that we struggled that game. I felt offensively, we had too many turnovers, too many block shots. Like we need to figure it out. I don't think that we had a strong game offensively there. Like we really struggled, but the guys really stuck to it. Like they stayed with the course and sort of bend but not break attitude. And then at the last time out, I'll just tell you this story, but the last time out, I'm drawing a play and there's like, I don't know, 3.5 minutes left or something, long bench. And Pat says, let's go 6-on-5. Cause I already had a play drawn up. So I just flipped my board over. Start another play. I was like, all right, 6-on-5, long bench, right? Like 3 minutes left, you're down by 2, and then I don't know. It's hard to almost tell by the video that we went 6-on-5 there, but we actually pulled Wardo in that last time out. Pat said to go for it and made a really great call. And we scored. Eli scored in the middle there. And then Timmy clutched up with that, goal was just like awesome and just huge goal. And then gave us an opportunity, obviously, to call timeout and have the ball with 21, I think, left. And I don't know, the guys executed it great. And Zeddy's clutch,
Oh, Zed.
How much? Sorry, Andy.
Go ahead. Get it in. We got to talk about Will Malcolm before he goes. But get another one in. Come on, Jamie. I like this. You're into it.
I just want to get in the 6-on-5 stuff because obviously, I mean, those situations come up multiple times in a game. And, I remember, like, obviously NLL is limited to practice time. It's not like you're in the summer, with your bellies and you can practice 4 days a week and you have your 6-on-5. This is what we do every time. Like, how much of that is actually practice, or how much do you trust, your guys on the floor that I'm drawing something up and this is your job, go out and execute? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is there a balance between that, or is everything kind of predetermined, the week before?
We have 6-on-5 plays that we run and we practice them in practice. And then we'll have a delayed 6-on-5 play that we're sort of looking for something based on the team we're playing. And it's always reads though. It's always a read. Like it's not cookie cutter because someone jumps, someone locks, like somebody doesn't do what they're supposed to do right in the 6-on-5. So the guys are always free to, in our offense in general, guys are free to, we have a structure that we play, but like a lot of the times people might think Bishop's a mastermind, but it's actually just the player making a read and making the right play. They're unreal. You know what I mean? Because they're playing together, and like my focus is just to try to get them to play together. They're reading situations. So I don't know. It's hard to, at the end of the game stuff, like maybe that some of that stuff's tailored and touched up, but we practice them for sure. I get 15 minutes at practice with the offense. I get 15 minutes. We travel to practice, so we only get to practice 15 minutes a week. And then I get 5 minutes for power short. Like it's like power and 2 PKs. These are the PK, the power, and the 6-on-5. I get like 8 minutes. So it's like, yeah, but we try to build on and layer on stuff that we're already doing, right? And, someone's going to watch that play and say, hey, look at this play. And then we're going to do something out of that. Like we'll actually adjust and find something and, tweak it and adjust it.
Now you're gonna have to send Jamie some of these plays because I know he's coaching now. You probably wouldn't mind.
I got that one in my mind. I'm taking Denver Elite teams to Irvine in a couple weeks, and that's our 6-on-5. We have one 6-on-5 play, and it's that. So you can go either side, left or right. So
Coach,
whoever's got the hot hand.
I understand you worked with Will Malcolm over the summer. Obviously, been a key addition. Love having him back in a Mammoth uniform. The guy looks quicker to me than ever. Like, again, I can only relate it to basketball play. He looks like Steph Curry or Allen Iverson when he's crossing guys over and just so sudden at times. What's it been like having him added to things, and what's your relationship with him like?
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I mean, he scored, I think he scored 52 goals in the summer. Like he's an elite scorer and ball carrier, good passer. Like he's got it all going on. He's young, he's dynamic. I still think he's getting better. Like he's still learning to play with people, and man, he's a tough check, that guy. He can shoot, he can be inside, he can be outside, and he's pretty like unorthodox at times. Like his shot's a little unorthodox at times, and it goes like it's he's a weapon, that guy. But he's so fast. He's almost like, when he goes low and he squares, it actually like he can control the gap even the fast defenders have a hard time. So if we can chip the guy, he's in trouble, right?
Jamie, get one more in, then we got to let Coach go. I don't want to get in trouble from anybody, but
yeah, no, I just want to, like, again, being an offensive coach, like, I envy what you do. I think it's incredible. You get the opportunity to work with the team you do. And, I mentioned, you don't have, I'm not, downplaying any of these guys' skills, but like, there's no Dane Smith, no Josh Byrne. Like, you don't have those guys who are going to put up 9 points a game, but it's anybody can put up 5, 6, sometimes 7, Connor Kelly's been so consistent. Like, just how do you get NLL caliber players? We're always constantly competing for a spot on the floor to just play together the way they are. I feel like the Mammoth has the most unselfish offense in the league right now, and so much depth. I feel like you guys have definitely improved over the last couple of seasons. Obviously, Will Malcolm, Ryan Lee being back in the lineup. So many weapons. Like, you just go down the list. Everybody is this kind of that, maybe not tier 1 player if you want to categorize them, but like everybody's just a really good tier 2 player. Like, how do you get everybody on the same page in the NLL?
Yeah, I don't think they're tier 2. I think they're sort of, we have like a lot of ones. Like, I think they are
1Bs.
Like, I don't know. I don't see them that way. Like, they're all super talented in their own ways. That they're like, when we mesh together, we're a tough out. Like, we're really working together. But like, I don't know. I think they are Dane Smith. Like, I mean, Dane Smith's an elite player, obviously, in point wise, but I don't know. Lizo had 118 points in his season when he got hurt. Do you know what I mean? Like, we do have Lizo's an elite passer. Like, he can find people that other people can't find. CK is an elite shooter. Zed's like a power forward, like Charles Barkley. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
he doesn't look fun to D up, Coach. It looks like that's a rough night.
D-Rob's like long range shooter. Like, he's a tough shooter. Like, and you start to put them together and you think, oh, maybe they are a tier 1 offense. Like, it is like super talented. Will Malcolm, you know what I mean? It's like Eli. We didn't even talk about Eli. Like, Eli. You start saying it though, like, and it is that though. To me, the hardest thing is that they're all talented, and there's only 50 shots. That's the biggest challenge. Is that, do you know what I mean? Connor Fields shoots the ball every time he touches it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and so we can't play that way. We actually have to play.
You don't have guys putting up 10 to 15 shots a game, is what you're saying, right? Like, it's a committee.
One of them could. Like, one of them could, but it's not always the same.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like, I don't know, like CK went off for a few games, and then Will went off for a couple games. Like, last week it was Eli and Will got 4 and 3. Do you know what I mean? The right side is a bit quiet. And the couple weeks before, it was like all right side. And you know what I mean? So I think it's just that no one cares. The only stat that we're really focused on is win-loss.
Yeah.
The only team we care about is Toronto.
Yeah. Well, and that comes with, I think that comes with the championship, right? Because it feels like you just want to, you said it, you want to get back there so badly. I won't ask you about it again until we actually get to maybe May. But, I'm a veteran media guy. I should have asked you to look ahead as a coach 2 months. That's my fault, Coach. I'll wear that one. Hey, real quick.
I would have gone there. I literally would have gone there.
It's Y2K night coming up Saturday, and we've got our in-house our arena host is going to join us, Peyton, here in a second. What's your favorite Y2K song? 25 years ago, Coach, 20 to 25 years ago, what were you jamming in the headphones before games or whatever?
I don't know.
You're not a music guy?
I am, but
were you watching The Sopranos? Was it the Desperate Housewives? What was the routine?
I like all music, but I don't know, AC/DC, like any of that old stuff.
Yeah,
you're old like me, Coach. You can't say AC/DC.
He looks like an 80s rock
too
guy.
Old
he looks like an 80s rock guy. Yeah,
Motley Crue, like
Motley Crue, 80s hairband.
Yeah,
see, I love you, Coach, but that's like the 90s and the 80s. We're still about 10 years too early. Hey, Coach, thanks for giving us some time tonight, man. It's been fun catching up with you. Maybe we'll talk to you again in the future on this little thing.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That's Coach Jason Bishop. I got to get your reaction to some of what he said, but let's welcome in our friend Peyton Kraft. She's going to be hosting the Y2K night. Peyton's switching jobs, Jamie. We have to talk to her about that off the record.
Uh-oh.
But all right, so give us the lowdown. What's Y2K night about, Peyton?
Yeah, I mean, it's about flip phones and NSYNC and Britney Spears. That's Y2K night. I wasn't born yet in the 2000s. So for me, I'm like, flip phone's still kind of a thing of the past. I don't really know how flip phone works quite yet, but it'll be fun. It's Mix 100 night too. So a lot of trivia. I mean, if you know Y2K, you'll do really good at the trivia. I'm not sure I'm going to do good at the trivia, though.
How much does that hurt you, Jamie, to hear that she wasn't born? And Peyton, when did you turn 21? You were with us. Matter of fact, I think you spent that season shadowing me and Jamie when you turned 21.
I turned 21 in 2022, so...
Yeah, we have like 3 different generations here on this call right now. But I do remember I graduated high school in 03, so I remember I had the Motorola Razr flip phone, and that was the coolest thing ever. You had Snake on the Nokia. I remember playing that in class, getting in trouble, and whole new different world now. But
did you ever have the Nextel walkie-talkie there, Jamie? I know Peyton didn't, but did you ever have that little where you could just
I remember like our parents had pagers and stuff. Like you thought they were important. They'd get a beep and they're like, "Oh, my mom has a pager," and yeah.
I had a pager and it wasn't for anything important. I can tell you that. You ran to a payphone hoping that this number was worth calling back. And if you got 911 on the page, you better find the nearest payphone possible. And hopefully it was a lady that you had made friends with a couple of nights earlier. There was no social media. There was none of that. God, pagers. You guys, well, I feel hella old now, which is great. But anyway, all right, Peyton. So I think we still have a few tickets available. What has been your favorite game so far? Before we let you go, what's been the favorite game that you guys get to play in there?
Oh, I liked the sock trick night. I don't know who that was against, but that's been so fun. That was fun. A sock trick is so gross, but so cool.
Johnny got hit with one. Gallant got hit with a sock, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I don't know. It's just fun. Something like you said, the Mammoth kind of made it up. So it's kind of a cool tradition, I think.
You know what? Since you got the sign above you, if you're into other sports, Peyton's Playbook, go check her out on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. All right, Peyton, we'll see you out at the arena coming up. We'll see you at ball coming up on Saturday. And we'll hopefully talk to you in full next week with this new job you got going on.
Yeah.
All right. That's Peyton Kraft. All right, man. We'll get back to some lacrosse. We're going to extend this a little bit longer tonight. By the way, we'll have Dylan Ward with us in a couple of weeks. We're going to start getting on some Mammoth alumni. I want to get Matt Brown on. Did you play with Matt Brown? I'm trying to remember.
Briefly.
They all run together, Jamie, so you're going to have to forgive me for things.
Yeah, Brownie and I, rarely pass cross in our playing career. It's funny. Like, I'm from Edmonton. He's from Burnaby. I got recruited to go play in Burnaby the year he graduated, so I never got to play with him there. And then we played, I think, a couple games with the Mammoth while he was – I think still volunteer coaching with DU, but he had a obviously great career with the Outlaws, in the outdoor program, and everything he's done with box lacrosse here in Colorado would be a great guest, and obviously good buddy of mine. So definitely get some good conversations out of him. We should get him and Johnny on this on this show. You'll get some doozies, I'm sure.
Hey, I'm in. We'll have to set that up. Eric Law is going to join us at some point. Casey Powell, I think, needs to join us at some point. I need your help. Should we get your boy? You played with Prout, right? Maybe we need to get Gavin Prout on.
Yeah.
Talk to Gavin.
I can reach out. Yeah. I'm sure he'd love to do it. I'm sure the fans would love that too.
So, all right, let's break down. So again, I do think, look, I understand the point that you were making. You and I have seen, you've played on some Mammoth teams. I'll always remember the John Grant Jr., Adam Jones teams, and they were a lot of fun to watch. But it reminded me times of like Peyton Manning and the Colts. If Peyton had an off night, you were in trouble. If John or Adam were off that night or they had a good defensive plan, you kind of were in trouble because if they weren't scoring, again, you had Jamie Lincoln and there's some other guys that were good players. I don't want to knock any of their teammates, but the offense was based on them. This offense that Jason Bishop has put together with this band of talent, man, it's a lot of fun because I think it's why the Mammoth are having success. There isn't just one guy to shut down with this thing.
Yeah, and that was my question. I wasn't meaning any disrespect to anybody on the Mammoth categorizing tier one, tier two. I think that's all subjective. I just look at, when you do a fantasy football draft and
Right,
if
right.
there's running backs that are tier one. So I just kind of had that mindset, and I just wanted to get his reaction, and I got exactly what I thought I would, and that's just goes to show you, it's Pat Coyle's team. Ever since he took over, he has that culture and just that style of lacrosse that he wants to play, and it's very simple. Like, there's no let's give it to one guy and he's the show, right? And that's the beauty, again, being an offensive guy, and watching Coach Bishop. He's having so much fun with these guys, and you can see the love he has, and he knows how much you can see how much he knows his players. Just talking about how each one is so differently unique and what they can bring to the table, but they all play with as a committee. So it's been fun to watch, and that's the beauty. That's the thing with the NLL. It's not going to be perfect every night. I'm sure they know they haven't played a perfect game even in the wins, but you love the mindset, right? You brought up playoffs, and he's like, hey, we're thinking about Latrell Harris, top defender on Toronto right now, and that's got to be the mindset. And I think that's why the Mammoth, in my mind, are back this year. They played more games than anybody else in the league. But with 5 wins on the year so far at this point, I think is a great spot to be in. But I think their approach, just 1 week at a time and just getting better. Like you heard him, he says he doesn't think we're that good yet. I think that's such a good mentality to have, because you have to prove it in this league, not only week by week, but getting to playoffs is their goal right now. So it's been fun to watch, and I love the reaction out of Bishop there. You can definitely tell the mindset that the coaching staff has.
So I am curious. Unfortunately, you do have a work trip, and so it's going to be Johnny Gallant in the booth and Eric Law between the benches, which means we won't get your knowledge in the middle of the broadcast. So tell us, what are the Mammoth facing in this Toronto team? They were so beat up beginning of the year, right, Jamie? Like all the NLL, all of NLL Twitter and any of the social media you follow, they just could not believe the injury luck that was going on in Toronto, but they're starting to get healthy. What does that mean for this game this weekend?
Yeah, I think they have one of the elite goaltenders in the league with Nick Rose, who's been obviously a staple on that back end, and Challen Rogers leading the way. He was hurt, Latrell hurt, like all their top guys were hurt, so it's just tough start to the season, and I think they had some tough games. But I watched their game last weekend, and Tom Schreiber is, in my eyes, going to be the best player on the floor. From an offensive standpoint, he's so dynamic. I think the Mammoth, definitely need to understand what he can do. And, I think it's just shutting everybody else down and limiting everybody else's opportunities when Schreiber gets the ball. So I think it's going to be an exciting game, for Ball Arena and the fans here in Colorado. Offensively, like Coach Bishop said, it's one game at a time and play by committee, and they don't rely on one or two guys. It's just play our brand of lacrosse, and that's what's so fun watching this Mammoth team. And he mentioned Tim Edwards, that big goal. Like, they've had contributions in their wins where it's everybody doing something, defensive, offensive, transition, in the face-off dot. So I think Tom Schreiber is going to be a tough matchup, and they're big on the back end. And if Nick Rose plays well, then it's going to be a good battle.
Well, it's going to be good to get Toronto in the Loud House. I don't even remember the last time Toronto came to the Loud House, to be quite honest with you. I did have a decent, from 2015 till whenever we got back to doing this thing, I guess 2022 there, Jamie. I don't remember seeing much of Toronto, so it's going to be fun to get them here. Again, it's Y2K night. Everybody come on out. The game is on ESPNU. For those of you that maybe have the tickets or look at the schedule, we just learned today in a production call that's now starting at 7:30 to accommodate the ESPNU audience. So it's going to be a little later than what was originally scheduled, but it should be a hell of a battle out there. We'll grab another player next week. We're hoping to try to either get Owen down or maybe Owen Ron. Maybe we'll do a double Owen night and just see. It was kind of fun having the 4 people on, and then we'll work on a good alumni. You guys, don't be afraid. Hit me up, Andy_Lindahl on Twitter. Tell us what alumni you want to hear from. I remember Josh Sims Maybe we gotta see if the true GOAT Gary Gate would give us a couple minutes at some point. I don't know. I've talked to Gary before.
Brian Langtree would be a good interview.
Langtree would be great to. I played against Langtree in an old man league. Langtree can't get enough. Man, we were in a club league, and I'm like, bro, your jersey's in the rafters at Ball Arena. Can you leave this for some of us? We don't need you out here pumping 9 goals in or whatever. But it was always good to see Langtree. What about Jamie Hanford? What's he up to today? I remember we did a media day one day with Jamie Hanford. He was a beauty. So
yeah, I know he's still coaching Johnny Gallant. You know, they cross paths in recruiting, and they see each other all the time. So definitely, everybody's still involved in lacrosse. But we can rally the troops for sure.
Yeah, we'll get some people on. We're gonna make this, and you know what? Maybe we'll go longer. Because the longer we go on this, the less you got to put your kids to bed, I guess. So there you go. It all works out. All right, Jamie, have safe travels this week. We'll look forward to getting you on the next broadcast. We'll get everybody back here. Right now, we're thinking 8 o'clock Wednesday. That's what we're trying to do. Again, if you were with us last time, we're going to move this thing around a little bit if we have to accommodate players. Some of these guys live in the Eastern time zone. It's already going to be about 10:30 there, and they've got to get up and do some jobs in the morning. Some guys do some coaching at night, so Monday or Tuesday will work better. But right now, plan 8 o'clock next week is when we'll plan to do this again. Dylan Ward in 2 weeks in front of their home game on the 17th. Jamie, we'll talk to you next week. We'll talk to you all later on Mammoth After Hours. Thank you to James Eunice. Good night, all.